times are changing. AI is changing every single thing. So the law has also changed. The law has introduced ways to make court faster because court is now virtual, especially for divorce. From beginning to end, you can have an online divorce, never meeting in person because court is virtual. Hello, my name is Gloria Nafula and I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I've been practicing for the past 4 years. My specialization as of now is family law such as succession, custody, and divorce matters. I am an advocate of the High Court. If you want to confirm the status of my practice, just go to the LSK advocate search and search my name. You will see my face there with a picture. We were talking about how to divorce virtually while you're out of the country. So you can divorce when you're in whatever county, whatever country. As long as you have access to an internet connection, you can actually just divorce online. It's an easy process. It's something that we do every day. So I'll take you through the divorce process online and I will show you what exactly goes on in a divorce and what to expect so that it doesn't catch you off guard. A lot of the times people are caught off guard by divorce, but it's actually not. It's one of the simplest cases you'll do in Kenya. If I do say so myself, it's one of the most straightforward cases. How do you get a divorce when you are outside Kenya, when you're abroad, or when you're in a different county and you have no time to make your way to a physical law firm to file a case? Well, this is what you do. Since 2020, when e-filing was established due to COVID, court has become highly virtual. So what courts do nowadays is they send a link to a certain courtroom and people join that link and your case is called one by one following something called a cause list. A cause list is a matter of all the cases the magistrate or judge is hearing that day. So what happens is you just join in, your advocate will lead the process because for most mentions, you are actually not needed in court. Only when there's an actual hearing is when you're needed, but you wouldn't know that if you were representing yourself. Personally, our firm is high on efficiency. We're a virtual specialized law firm, so we are high on efficiency. There's no need for you to go to court if you don't need to. We'll do all the work. You show up when we tell you to. In fact, the best part about online for the clients is that it has removed that nervousness it was when you're going to court, because now you can just be behind the screen, your camera is off, nobody is seeing what you're doing. When it's time to be called, I just hit you up and tell you, hey, prepare. It's time to put on your mic, it's time to put on your camera, and then we proceed with the court session. First of all, what is a divorce? So a divorce is the legal dissolution of a valid marriage by a court order after evaluating evidence that the marriage is broken down. In Kenya, it is a fault-based system. Like that when you see there, unlike other jurisdictions where you can just sign papers and go to a registrar and they dissolve your marriage, in Kenya, it's the filing of a petition that is heard and then you are issued with a dissolution of marriage by a magistrate or a judge if the matter is really highly complex and you filed it in the High Court, which is very rare, okay? So this is basically a fault-based system where the petition, you cannot say that we agree to divorce. You must put a reason why you're divorcing. It must be something like the marriage has completely broken down. You don't really have to vilify someone that much. Most lawyers nowadays know you don't have to, no court will force people who don't want to be together. So you don't have to vilify anyone. All you need to do is set up this petition in a way that shows that you're not colluding, you're not consenting, and you're filing a case against another person. So you're the petitioner and the person you're divorcing is the respondent. And later on you'll see you don't necessarily even have to respond to a divorce. Unlike all other cases in Kenya, a divorce is something you can ignore and no consequences will happen to you. But other cases, if you ignore them, of course there'll be highly expensive consequences on your behalf, all right? So, okay, the law. What laws govern divorce in Kenya? So these are the Marriage Act 2014, the marriage matrimonial proceeding rules. These are the rules of how we conduct court as lawyers, and the marriage matrimonial proceedings rules. This is about matrimonial property and other such applications and things about matrimonial property. In that picture, I've shown you an example of what a divorce decree looks like, right? Dissolving the marriage, because somebody was asking about that. So when the divorce is done, you'll be issued with a divorce decree Nisi means it's like you're given 30 days for the thing solidifies, and then after 30 days it becomes absolute. This means you are divorced. You're now divorced. You can take this to the marriage registrar, and they will register you in the register of divorced. You can marry somebody else and not be accused. The first thing you're gonna need to know is that you cannot divorce without a valid marriage. It is absolutely impossible to divorce formally if you are not married formally. So in Kenya, there's something called a marriage certificate, and you have to have one to divorce. So if you've been living with somebody, come we stay, you've been living in the same house, and there's no formal recognition of that union, then you can just walk out and go and pretend like you never knew this person. And that will basically be a divorce, but you don't need to go to court to file for a divorce. But of course, there are dangers to just living with a person, because we've had clients who were living together as man and wife, yet they were not man and wife. So how do you prove that that property that you've been living on is matrimonial property? This person can go and sell and pretend like they don't know you. So it's very important to realize your marital status right now. Are you single but living with somebody? And the law doesn't recognize that boyfriend-girlfriend thing. It doesn't recognize it. So you could possibly be single. So to start a divorce process, you bring up your marriage certificate. I've given you a sample over there so you know what it looks like, okay? This is what the newer ones look like. The older ones are slightly different. They're smaller. But it is written certificate of marriage. You guys signed it when you were getting married, okay? For example, this one, you can see that they got married under customary law. So even customary marriages have to be registered as such. What are the grounds for divorce? So remember how we said it's fault-based? This is what you're going to put in on your petition. This is what you're going to tell the court, the reasons for the breakdown of the marriage. So for civil, Christian, and Hindu marriages, there are the following grounds for divorce. Adultery. This means the spouse committed infidelity. So you can put that on your petition, that the marriage has broken down because this person was adulterous. The next is cruelty. This could be physical, emotional, somebody is insulting you, disrespecting you, verbal abuse, even financial abuse, you know. These are all depictions of cruelty. Another one is desertion, where the person has deserted the matrimonial home. We've had a case where the person was fled the country, stole this person's money and fled the country. So they've not seen them for the past 10 years. You don't know where they are. This is desertion. They've gone away. They've run away. Right? And then there's irretrievable broken down, which is every other reason you can think of that would put in there. I saw one, somebody was like, oh, this person nags too much. Oh, this person does it. All that, you put them in irretrievable breakdown of the marriage. Now, for Islamic marriages, that is the Islamic divorce talaq, you know, and follows Sharia principles. And you can file it in the Qadhi's court. And then for customary marriages, the procedure of divorce, now you'll bring in the divorce procedure based on your customs. I once saw a divorce, customary divorce, where the person said that she was divorced, the lady. She said that she was divorced because this person built a house for the second wife before he built a house for her. And according to their customs, indeed that was a sign that he wanted to divorce her. So you see, customary law, you'll bring an expert witness who will tell the court what exactly your culture deems as divorce. It says it's better to have loved and lost than to live with a cycle for the rest of your life. Some people think that in order to divorce, you have to have suffered in this marriage for 3 years, but that's absolutely not the case. You can be divorced tomorrow if you so decide. The law has become lenient because, again, remember the principle is we're not going to force people together who don't want to be together, okay? So there's no need to be suffering in a place where you don't need to be. Maybe you've been separated and not taken the final step, and you're in a new relationship and want to register the marriage, then you definitely have to divorce, because remember, it's a crime to marry again and you have a valid marriage certificate. That's bigamy, okay? So you can't do that. So what's the procedure of divorce? How do we go about divorce once you've decided that you want to file it? You've come with your marriage certificate and you've told us, please file for us a divorce. Here's what we do. First, we prepare the divorce petition, okay? The spouse initiating the process, that's called the petitioner, files a petition in the magistrate's court, okay? It's mostly the magistrate's court. Very, 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 very rare do you go to the high court, okay? So the petition must state valid grounds for divorce and be supported by documents. And that's largely on the part of your advocate. I'll do all that for you. I'll tell you what we need, and you send them to us. Like I said, we're a highly efficient virtual law firm. You just click the link and we set up the consultations, we exchange the documents, and we file the petition. After that petition is filed, serve the other person, the respondent, so by their WhatsApp number or by their email. Remember, we said you're abroad and you're trying to break up with this person, right? But they have to be aware of the case against them. This is just natural justice. I have to know the accusations against me. So what the court tells you is to serve the person. Email, WhatsApp is fine. We're talking about people who are abroad. If you are in Kenya, and if that person, let's say you cannot find their email or their phone number, then you'd serve them also in person. There's no way you'd be in person in a divorce and surrounded by all those advocates. So this is another Kenya. But there was this meme going around that a couple shows up for a divorce in matching outfits and the judge tells them to return when they're serious. So like I said, the very rare instances where the court will deny you a divorce. Except maybe when they call you to court and you guys are virtually online and you're like all huggy over there, hugging each other, and the court is like, do you take us as a joke? Do you think this is a joke? You know? The pre-trial conference, this means is like updating the court. We're organizing everything, making sure every document is fine, your petition is fine, the other party has either made a response or not. If you guys are like, let's say you're not very sure whether you want a divorce, and this is something that possibly could be a reconciliation of sorts. There's something called ADR. So you can apply to the court to have some alternative dispute resolution to see whether you can maybe reconcile. If that's something that like the things in the divorce are not absolutely irretrievable, you can apply to the court to do ADR, which is rare. I've not seen it up to now. Is after we've gone through the trial, pre-trial, and then now we've gone to the hearing which will be conducted by your advocates, and then we've done all that, then the court will give its final judgment, which is usually dissolving the marriage. I hereby declare that this marriage solemnized at this church or this place is hereby dissolved, right? And they'll issue something called a decree nisi, which is like a pending waiting period, which has a 30-day waiting period. So it means that we're giving this decree, meaning you're on your way to divorce. It's giving 30 days for you to adjust, you know, in case something happens in those 30 days, right? Which automatically becomes absolute after 30 days, right? So a decree absolute is issued and you request it from the court to issue with it, so you can go to the marriage register and dissolve that marriage completely from the register, okay? So in this meme, we have like me when the meeting invite was longer than the meeting that should have been an email. Let me tell you something. All these things can be done virtually, online. Guys, there's no need for you to waste your fuel coming all the way to, we're located in Ruiru Town, all the way in Ruiru Town to see me, and then we up on the meeting only to... All these things can be done on a phone call. I am an efficiency expert, right? I am actually a life coach, so I am actually very, very, very key on efficiency. All these things can be done in one Google Meet meeting. We can communicate by email. We can save both our time and energy if we just did this online and virtually. So you don't need to pour in all your emotions to divorce. In fact, I think it's easier to do it this way because it stops being a very emotionally draining procedure, and it becomes very simple and direct online, you know? So what are the timelines of a divorce? You know, because people tend to get impatient, and I myself can get impatient. That's why I like efficiency. So what do? Realistically, an uncontested divorce can be completed within 3 to 6 months. But let me tell you this. There's a magistrate who's so good, did the divorce in 1 month because it was uncontested, meaning the other person hasn't responded to the divorce. And so the divorce went super fast. So that is like the stars are aligned. Perhaps if you're still even on talking terms with your intended divorcee spouse, you can tell them they don't need to defend. Yeah? They don't need to defend. We won't accuse you of anything heinous. You just don't need to defend the case. You want us to divorce quickly? Then don't respond, right? We've had clients who are still on talking terms tell their significant other not to respond, and that's how the divorce went quickly. For a contested one, it can take between 6 to 12 months because we need to go through all those steps I told you about. We need to go to hearing, we do all that. But at the end of the day, it will end in divorce. It will just take slightly longer. But don't worry about it. That's all on my part. You just need to show up like 1 or 2 days. Give your testimony and we're done, okay? So here are other legal issues you might need to consider during divorce. This is child custody and maintenance, okay? So children's courts and children's matters are dealt with a different court, so you will not bring your children to testify. In fact, in Kenya, children can be even not aware that the parents are divorcing. It's up to you now as a parent to sit them down and talk to them and prepare them. But if you are the type of parents who decide not to tell them, and you're on talking terms with your ex, then you don't have, it's up to you. It's up to you. So they're not really involved in this process because you two got married. Children, no children, it was between the two of you. As for children, it may come up because now that you're separating, you have to find a way to organize the children. You want peace in your life. And issues of maintenance, yeah? What kind of money, who's going to stay with the children, how is custody going to happen, how's access and visitation rights. This is all dealt in the children's court. So usually, sometimes we file divorce and children at the same time, so that these issues are all fleshed out simultaneously, right? And again, at a different cost, okay? If you don't do a children's matter, you will inform us when you do the divorce retainer. Next is property and matrimonial assets. Again, if you've been married for a while and you got assets together, then asset division after marriage is gonna be brought up, right? So it's this is depending on how much property you had. If it's over 20 million, definitely go to the High Court, file the documents, and we decide who gets what, right? And then spousal support. It's not really done in Kenya. It's not done that much unless you can really prove that maybe this person was maintaining you, maybe if, let's say you're getting a divorce and they cut off this maintenance and like the children and everything, it's messing things up, then you can apply for it. So what cost do you expect from us? If you're paying via M-Pesa, like you contact the email, if you're paying via M-Pesa, it's 100,000. If you're paying the direct route, the fast track route, then you'll pay $1,000 because it only takes dollars, but it's PayPal, so it will convert it to shillings. And another thing is, because it's the new year and January and all that, to celebrate the new year, we are having a 10% off of the divorce retainer. So if you click the link, within the next 7 days, you will get 10% off of the retainer. So if you have any questions, please email the email in the description. Our phone number is there. You can WhatsApp that number or call it, where somebody from our offices will talk to you. Another thing is that you can click the link to go to our website directly and see the services we offer. You can book a consultation there as well, or if you don't have PayPal, again, just email, we'll book the consultation that way. Again, we're a virtual law firm. Please, if you can avoid coming in person, then please, let's save each other's time. See you in the next one.